Hi, I'm Amy. I'm business partner here at Gleeson Recruitment Group. I'm in the marketing digital team. I'm here with Kate.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm from Abstract Design. We're a rebranding and marketing agency, and I'm the account director there.
So obviously you and I know each other quite well, but we're going to be asking you some questions surrounding your parental leave arrangement between yourself and your partner. So I'll jump straight in. So first of all, it would be just good to understand what your working circumstances were before becoming pregnant.
So we have offices in Kenilworth, as there's about 15 of us in Abstract now. And as most of the team are either designers or animators, we have quite a lot of equipment. So we've always worked in the office, for that reason. We've never felt the need to work from home. Everybody does usually quite enjoy coming into the office, as do I. So yeah, my day usually varies from about 8:30 till 5:30 or 9 till 5.
Okay, so then you find out you're pregnant and then the world goes into a global lockdown because of COVID. What were some of the challenges you faced both being pregnant and having a baby during lockdown?
Just before I'd found out I was pregnant, I'd been in Houston, Texas. So we do travel quite a lot to see our clients face to face. So obviously this was quite a big concern for me. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, I was thinking, how am I going to go face to face with these people? They're going to think that she's going to go off on maternity for months and months, and who do I deal with? I'm presenting these ideas, which were very much my own ideas, and it was scary for me thinking that they might not trust me to pursue the rest of the project. So obviously when we went into lockdown, it was a really good transition for our company because we started to talk to a lot of our clients face to face over Zoom, which was great for me because I did feel like I could almost hide my pregnancy because people only saw the top half of me. Which when I did eventually have to tell the clients that, oh, I'm taking an 8-week break to go off on maternity, they were really, really shocked that I was pregnant.
I bet.
And also it was funny because they couldn't understand why I didn't tell them. I think the stigma of a woman going off, that's it, that's the job role, that's a break from the work, who are we going to deal with? So it was scary. It was a scary time, but actually the lockdown really helped me in that sense.
Did you feel pressured to stay home for a certain amount of time after having Hallie?
So I only took 8 weeks maternity leave.
Yeah.
So Dane, my partner, he took the 6 or 7 months off, so it's shared paternity leave.
Yeah.
That we did. And yeah, it was great working from home. And at that point, I was always going to work from home.
Yeah.
Once I had Hallie, it was really hard because I always knew that my maternity leave wasn't going to be a long one, just because of the nature of my job. It's all about relationship building. And if I'm not there, it's the relationships I've built that they might not necessarily come back to me. So I've spent 6 years working at Abstract, and that was something I was really conscious of. So trying to decide on how long I would have off was quite difficult. And at this time, I didn't know that my partner would be allowed the time off. And also to add to that, I was breastfeeding too. So I knew that was going to be a big impact on how realistically, how much can I work whilst doing another full-time job, because it is literally a full-time job, breastfeeding.
How did you come to that decision that 8 weeks would be the time?
I was told that Hallie, my daughter, could have been a big baby, which she was 9.6 pounds. So there was always the fear of a C-section, which in my head I thought, well, they say that a C-section is 6 weeks recovery, and then I just wanted an extra 2 weeks to be able to go up and about and act like I was back to normal. So in my head, that's how I came to 8 weeks. And because it was September time that I was due, late September, I thought, well, October and November, we usually sort of quieten down before Christmas. And then December is usually quite a quiet month. So in my head, I thought, well, that's quite a nice transition.
So what was it then that made you want to go back to work?
I've always been a very career-driven person. So even from school days, from work experience, I always insisted that I'd carry on with the job. I've always wanted to earn money for myself, so I could never have to rely on anyone. And so when I had the opportunity to work at Abstract and I felt that I was progressing really well, I just didn't want to let the managing director down. And I also didn't want to let myself down with how far I've come. I didn't want to have having a baby to really impact it. And I think I see so many people that have really been impacted from a career point of view from having a baby, because they feel that, oh, somebody stepped in to take their job on maternity and they might have done a better job, so they're favoured when you come back, you're out the loop for 9 months or a year. And I suppose that it's quite common to have that fear put in you when you're pregnant as a new mum. And it's a scary time, because I just thought it's quite a niche job to replace. And not only that, I'm not even sure if I could have been replaced for such a long period of time, because it's all about the individual relationships. And I just didn't want to lose that. And I like being able to provide for Hallie, and everybody still has bills to pay. So I just thought, why would I put sort of my family in a situation where we don't have much money just so I can be at home with Hallie? Whereas the way it worked was Dane took the shared parental leave. He had a really good structure for the pay in his job. And it meant we were all three at home at the same time, whereas every now and then I'd have a call or a meeting or a presentation. But I didn't feel like I missed out on anything in terms of Hallie's first few months of life.
As you said, it was a difficult decision for you. How did he then come to the decision that he would then take the 6-7 months off?
He was also looking to adapt and change his career slightly. So we sort of agreed that in that 6 months, he could take that as an opportunity for himself to really look into what he wants to do and where he wants to go. Because men don't get that break until they retire. They get the 2 weeks off for paternity, which is, in my mind, it's just crazy.
It sounds like you had a really great balance with it for the both of you.
The only thing that did sort of, I suppose, affect me when I was pregnant was when we would tell people Dane was taking the time off and not me. You just see it over people's faces. It's like, what? You're not taking the time off, but you're the mom. You need to be there, and the dad needs to go back to work. And I just remember thinking, but why?
But why? That leads quite nicely though on to the next question, which was, why was that the best decision for you to make?
I think at a time, especially going into COVID, it was a very nerve-wracking time. And I'm from a small business where that could have hit it really hard. So I didn't want to be in a position where I've left a business that's given me so much opportunity to be hit by COVID and for the main account manager not to be there. So there was that to consider. And then there was also a financial perspective to consider. And also it was just really just our preference, because my work was so much more flexible. So Scott, the managing director, he'd say to me, look, you've obviously got to breastfeed. If you still want to go to like the baby sensory classes, it's an hour out your day. As long as I'm doing the work, it didn't matter what hours I was doing. Whereas Dane was from a more of a corporate, larger company. That's why we thought, well, with my job, I can be way more flexible. We can be financially better off. And Hallie gets both parents there for the first 6 months.
You touched on it before. Do you feel there's a stigma around working with us?
Yeah, typically hairdressers or beauticians don't have a very long maternity either. And it was like, well, why wouldn't you take the 9 months? And it was like, well, because I actually enjoy work. I love my job and I love working. So it really helped me get into a good routine. And also I think it really helped Hallie get into a routine, and all of us. And I'm one of these people that has to be kept busy. And as much as it was lovely, like being in your little newborn bubble when Hallie was sleeping and things, I'm still sort of itching to go. Like I need something to motivate me and to get me through the day. So I do think there is a stigma on mums that want to go back to work. And it's almost like you have to provide a valid reason. So as soon as I would say, you know, I'm still earning full pay, or I've got this, and it's like, oh, okay, you can justify it. But sometimes I think I just wanted to work. It doesn't make me a bad mum. I'm trying to provide for Hallie. It meant I got to spend more time with Dane. Hallie got to spend more time with Dane. As a family, we were together a lot more than we ever would have been if Dane had gone back to work and not me.
When you said about the hairdresser thing, I mean, that isn't even questioned. People don't question it, but you're so right that in an office space or different working environments, it really is something that happens. But what advice would you then give to somebody who would like to do the same as you, but feels judged by others?
I think in terms of judgment, you have to really put it aside to say what is best for your personal situation and your family situation. So for us, we had to consider finances. I mean, we have a house, we have a mortgage, we have cars, and it was thinking, if I go off on statutory maternity, can we afford what we're doing? What are the pressures that's going to put on the family, just because it's me that's having the time off rather than Dane, who is equally a parent to Hallie. Dane was actually looking at different career paths in his current situation. So he was looking at new opportunities, but with the day-to-day work taking up his life, and the weekends we were actually doing up a house, he was never really given that time where he could sit down and think, actually, what do I want to do with my life? What does my career path look like? Whereas I was fortunate enough to be in a situation where I'm in a really steady career path. I really enjoy my job. I love where it's going, and I can see me being there for years and years to come. So that, to me, it was, well, actually, it's not just about me or it's just about Hallie. It's about Dane too. You know, what does he need right now? And he needed that time to look at his career, which he was able to do by taking the 6 months off.
It's amazing. It sounds like you've taken such a positive stance away from it all. Okay, were you actually expected to go back into the office after your maternity?
I was given the opportunity to come into the office if I wanted to, if it was easier, because sometimes with creative meetings it is to lay it all out. But no, I was told I could work from home for as long as I wanted. Making the decision to have my maternity shorter, knowing that I could work from home afterwards, even when Hallie wasn't at nursery, really, really helped me.
Was it instrumental in making your decision to shorten your maternity and give the rest to Dane?
Yeah, I think if I hadn't been given the opportunity to work from home, I would have had to have taken at least 6 months maternity, which would have been really hard on me and us as a family.
All right, well, thanks so much for your time, Katie. It's been really helpful, and hopefully it helps people make the right decision for them.
That's okay. And hopefully it does. It allows people to see the plus side of a woman going back to work and the benefits it can have on a family, because it's always seen as more of a negative, whereas really it can be a great positive.